Welcome to Twin City Talk. Today we are with Elizabeth Dampier and Leigh Ann Woodruff from Kaleideum. Hello, guys.
Very good.
Hello.
It's always tricky saying that.
Perfect pronunciation.
So how are you guys today?
We're good. We're good.
So tell us, more about this awesome new place that Winston-Salem has.
Well, if you haven't been to visit yet, hopefully you've noticed the building in downtown. One of the things that we really wanted to do was to create an iconic place in downtown so that if someone said, I'm looking for Kaleideum, where do I find it? You know that you can point to the white building with the bright, colorful, confetti-like pieces on it. And then what we hope is that when you get inside, there's a lot more fun and learning that happens. We believe in playful learning. We believe in playing with a little bit of risk. We believe in testing things, learning new things, trying new things, failing and then trying it again, and having the opportunity to do all of that really for all ages. And while we know that we've got a lot of families that primarily come and those types of things, we're also trying to do program that expands our audience. So we're doing things all the way from newborns and littles all the way up for those that we call in their golden years with our After Dark events, 21 and up. So there's just a lot of fun things going on at Kaleideum, and we're excited to be part of the downtown community.
You have done that before. Yeah, it was very good, very good. Yeah.
We've programmed her.
Yeah. So this is minutia, right? You mentioned the building with all the confetti-like things. Am I wrong in thinking it's the specks in the kaleidoscope that when you're turning it, those things, is that what that's supposed to represent?
That is exactly
Yes.
what it's I'll shout out to Wildfire, the ad agency in town. They came up with the branding and they helped us come up with the name. And that was all happened back when we merged back in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I
Clever
have.
name.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That building's been with me my entire time here because when I moved in, they had just broken ground.
Yeah.
And I watched the entire construction, heard the entire construction, and now I get to look down on it and thank the stars that noise is over, but we have a wonderful place that's in that location. And I tell people when they come here, I said, yeah, look at that building. So it's
not subtle. Like you can see it from,
That's good.
That's what we were going for.
It adds a lot of character downtown.
Well,
Very cool.
that brings flair to the downtown area.
And the name, we know that some people are still saying, even after all these years, how do I say it? So you're right. It is all about a kaleidoscope. It's the idea of merging a kaleidoscope in a museum. When you think about a kaleidoscope, this image comes in your head, and usually you probably think of a child's play toy, or that's where you think you see it. A kaleidoscope was invented by a Scottish physicist to study the properties of light. So it has roots in science, which I think a lot of people don't know. And so when we were thinking about what is this museum about, we thought about the arts that you think of when you think about a kaleidoscope, the sciences that you think about, children playing with it, the fact that it changes what you see inside of it all the time. There's infinite possibilities for what those pieces in the kaleidoscope become and what you see. And we want you to do the same thing at Kaleideum. It really becomes the metaphor for what we're trying to create with the experience inside the building. And also there's this idea called kaleidoscopic thinking, which actually comes out of the Harvard Business School by one of the professors, where the idea is that you have to be able to hold multiple ideas at the same time, that nothing is just one thing. And also that you really have to unlearn in order to relearn, which is sort of what we think about with the scientific method. You have a hypothesis, you test it, sometimes it doesn't work and you have to come up with a new one. And so again, it's really the embodiment of the experience that we're trying to create in the space, and we thought it really became the perfect way to combine to create this idea of Kaleideum to come together at the museum.
And it really is a space for all ages. You touched on that adults event. I went to the one in August, and it's really cool to just, I love my kids, but it was nice to, have a break from them and, actually, see the museum, because two of my daughters are young, so, I didn't get to see much. I was just handling them. But yeah, it's a really cool event. Who came up with that?
We actually had actually, museums across the country do after dark events for adults. So children's museums, science centers, they a lot of them do these. So we had, when we were SciWorks, we did SciWorks after dark. The Children's Museum of Winston-Salem did the storybook gigs. What were they called? No, storybook. I can't think of it. It was a cute name, and so then when we combined to Kaleideum, we when we were out north, we did some. They weren't. I mean, we had some that were successful, but people just didn't want to go that far. So we really thought, when we're downtown in the heart of Winston-Salem, like, people are going to want to come, and so we had the first one in April, and then they've just kind of grown from there. So it's been really exciting to see. You haven't lived until you see like an 80-year-old sliding down our rooftop slide. Like, it is the greatest thing to see people playing and walking on, and having drinks, and I mean, it's fun. So
it does transform the space, and again, it goes back to the fact that we believe that play is for everyone, and everybody needs an opportunity to sort of step out of their comfort zone and do that from time to time. And so it's nice to be able to do that.
So outside of the museum, what are some things you guys love about Winston-Salem?
Well, I was born here and grew up in Winston, and then went to Chapel Hill, lived in Raleigh, and came back to raise a family. So I love Winston-Salem just for being, I think it's a great place to raise a family. It is, it's comfortable. You can get anywhere in 10 minutes. The neighborhoods are beautiful. I mean, I love it. It was fun we went to the Visit Winston-Salem, where the new brand marketing thing they're doing yesterday, and it's the history plus the future, and I love that. I love the architecture and all the things about Winston, and I'm glad we're getting fun restaurants, and Bailey Park is lively, and I mean, it seems like it's a great place to come and be a young person again, so I like that.
So I grew up in the Triad, but not in Winston-Salem, and so moved here in 2009 to be part of the Children's Museum of Winston-Salem at the time. So I have really enjoyed getting integrated into the community and really just seeing this downtown really flourish. I think that when I came, downtown was really on its upswing as some things were really beginning to happen. So I hear the stories about what downtown used to be, and I see what downtown is now, and I really, like I said, came up on the upswing of that. So like Leigh Ann, I love the restaurant opportunities, the food opportunities, the fact that you can come downtown and you can really spend a day downtown and find things to do. I also like to tell people, I really, particularly as we've got some things that are changing, I love to just close my eyes and think about the opportunities that we have, starting all the way down at UNCSA and coming up the strollway as you walk through Old Salem. You come up and you continue walking. You've got the Muse, which is a fantastic museum. They're doing the Peter Oliver project that will, be coming to fruition. We've got that great pedestrian bridge that was done, that Creative Corridors worked on. You cross over, you come upon Kaleideum, and then you've got Marshall Park, and you've got this great place that then you can stop and say, what's next? Is it the Arts District where you go down Trade Street? Is it I want to go see a show at Stevens Center? Is it a great restaurant? Is it places to go shop, at Mash General or Just Be or some of those places? And there's just so much opportunity that it just sort of explodes and blows up. And that was not here in 2009 like that. But I just love the thought of how you could spend a weekend, or how, you can do all those types of things as you just follow this one path through Winston and what it does for you.
I just have such fond memories. When I was a little girl, I would come downtown with my mom. She, her family had a real estate company, and they owned like parking lots and buildings downtown and stuff. So we would come downtown, and I just remember the Montaldos and the L. Roberts and the Davis Department Store and all that. Like, it was just such a fun experience, and I feel like it's like that again. It makes me happy just to see. I've kind of seen different growth opportunity. I remember being in college, and there was like a bar downtown that we were a dance club or something that we would come to, the orchestra pit or something. Like, it's just like at different times things would bubble up, but I feel like now it's like really sticking. So,
you got any questions?
I'm just enjoying listening. No, I'm echoing the same thought as you're sitting there reminiscing. So am I, because same kind of memories of driving through downtown, Christmas time, those decorations. Which, by the way, little known fact is that a lot of those decorations are the same ones.
No, yes, they are.
They're the same circular
Moravian
ones with the
stars.
Moravian stars that they had when I was 6 and I was brought down here.
Yeah.
We'd always make that tour. One of my now revisited favorite pastimes is I will come down here on my motorcycle late at night when it's starting to kind of slow down a little bit and just make a lap around up and down each street. And it's crazy how much prolific change has taken place and how much activity there still is, and there'll still be people just walking with their coffee at 11 o'clock at night, strolling their dog, and it's maybe in a lot of other cities that's not necessarily a unique thing, but the fact that it is so common now, and there's a safety element, there's a fun element. You hear people say, "Let's just go downtown now." Let's go downtown. It's the destination to go.
The response in the past would have been,
Let's go downtown. Why are we? Do we want to put our life at risk for fun? And just,
are you out of your mind?
But no. To your point, I love all of that. Same thing. And when you were talking about the walk and where do you go and what do you end up doing, I did that not that long ago. Had my dog, had my daughter. We did that. We got to that point you're talking about. Well, let's go down Trade. Let's go to Mast. And then hang a left. And we did that for hours. It was great. Now I need to do the Segway tour now. Friends of ours did a staycation recently where they stayed at one of the new places over in West End. And then they were telling me because they popped in the Remedy, and then afterwards they made their way up the hill and around the corner in downtown, and they did the Segway thing, and they said it's amazing if you did a staycation, became a tourist for a weekend, how much it opens your eyes to it if you're living here, the things that we probably all should be doing a little bit more regularly. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite program that Kaleideum has or does or has coming up? I know it's picking your favorite child. I get it. But what is it? If someone said, well, tell me one thing about Kaleideum. Talking about events or activities or whatever.
Well, I want to talk about one thing that I don't know necessarily that it's my favorite, but it's definitely one thing that I'm not sure that everybody knows that we participate in, and that is our robotics programming. So we actually do some of our, we do summer camps, but we do also some programming on the floor with robotics and engineering style things, all the way starting at preschool. We have these little B-bots that you can program, and they travel on this little mat to all these different places. And so we've got 3-year-olds that are beginning to program and are doing that very easily, all the way up to the fact that we have some big, like I think of them like BattleBots robots, the really big ones, but they're not designed to crush each other. They're designed instead to do these challenges. So we have groups of kids that come during their season from January through April, and they're using part of our space to build their robot, design their robot. They open it up so that people who come to the museum can come and they talk with them about programming and talk with them about robots and things like that. And so the reason I want to share that is because, again, you think about bringing your kids when they're, anywhere from, a year to 8 or so. But the truth is there's opportunities for them when they're super little and are little learners at 0, all the way up to if you're in high school and there are things that you want to do too. And one of the examples might be if you're into robotics and that kind of thing, and programming and engineering, you can do that. They're going to competitions all over the state. One of our teams made it to Worlds this year, and so they're doing all this fantastic stuff, and it's making them career ready. So when you think about the museum, we are actually also doing things that are building skills that are going to inform and hopefully create workforce that comes back to Winston-Salem and is working. And I don't think that that's something that you may think is happening inside our doors, but it is.
I would never have thought that. That's so cool.
That is.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Which high school is it that has a robotics program? Is that Reagan?
Well, there's several different ones that have robotics teams at their schools. There are different levels of teams. North Forsyth has a team. Reynolds has a team. I know Atkins is looking at starting a team. I'm not sure if they actually have one or not. But the other teams that we work with a team at Salem Academy.
Okay.
So it's an all-girls team as we're thinking about underrepresented groups in robotics, women and minorities. And then also we have a community-based team that is made up of folks from Greensboro and Winston-Salem and surrounding areas that come here to practice as well.
That's cool.
Awesome.
How is new Kaleideum different from old Kaleideum for those who may not have had the chance to experience the
Sci Works
work?
and Children's
Well, you won't see
Museum.
the old teeth. For those that have been in Winston a long time.
I mean, SciWorks was a science center, and the Children's Museum was a children's museum focused on 0 to 8. And the science center was probably K through 6 focused, or mostly. So this new Kaleideum is an experiential learning museum, and you're going to find elements of both. You're going to find imaginative play in our storytelling exhibit. You're going to find science in the in motion exhibit. A lot of the physics and the centrifugal force and the Bernoulli blower, and you can build a roller coaster and stuff like that. And then, like our water exhibit looks at water in the 3 states of water, as a solid, a liquid, and a gas. But it's also just fun. I mean, and you can play like you're, I don't know, a swimming pool lifeguard or something in there, but so really, and then we have elements for older, adults are having just as much fun in I can never think of the name of the 360 where they take the pictures and.
I always say it wrong. It's not the swing chamber, it's the other one.
Yeah, but there's just so many elements that you watch adults and they're playing and they're doing it all correctly, and everybody's like, wow, they know exactly what they're doing. So it really is an experiential learning museum for all ages. But we want families, we want littles, we want middle schoolers, we want high schoolers, all of the people to come. So
I know a lot of people love the planetarium at SciWorks. So
and the
talk a
digital
little more
dome,
about the digital.
Yeah, so the digital dome is just even more. I mean,
nice.
one of the movies that they're showing now is called Microcosm, and that's aligned with the curriculum with Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools for the biology curriculum. So if you get to shrink down to a small size and go through and battle different diseases and things in the human body. So I mean, it's just really cool stuff that we were unable to do at the old place. It was old technology there.
Yeah.
So
Any chance or way that they can do the old, like the laser shows, like the Pink Floyd?
We are doing the laser.
Are
We've
you?
got the Pink Floyd laser show. In fact, I think it's in November. They're
Okay.
going to show Pink Floyd.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, Tim.
Well, let's
It's
see,
a combination of everything. If you're into Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Outkast, all the way to the Pink
Stranger
Floyds and the
Things.
Led Zeppelins, I mean, it really is. The opportunities that we have now are so much bigger than what we had at the other
Very
place.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't been to one of the After Darks, I've also got Catherine Kale, who is she's my marketing manager, and she can turn it into a club Kaleideum in there. Or domeoke, like we can do karaoke in the dome. But they are running those late night laser shows. They did at the last After Dark. They did. We're going to put the R in stars, and they talked about the mythology of the stars, but the R-rated version or the more risque version. So,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
sometimes adults just need some of that. Seriously.
and we're going to set a holiday scene for our Festive Family Friday in December. So Santa's going to be in the Digital Dome for that, and so there's just a lot of really cool stuff with the Digital Dome that we can do.
Yeah, back to whenever I was watching, because I didn't always have this spot. I was on the other side of this space. And while it was being built, I saw the big gaping hole in the middle of the thing. I'm like, that's got to be where the dome goes. And it was, because I went there. Don't have a whole lot of time for doing things like that. But I went opening the ribbon cutting and all that stuff and walked through. And I'm like, yes. because I was trying to put in perspective what I was seeing from over here. And really, the whole thing was fascinating after it was done, but it was very fascinating watching it happen because I had clients who were regulars that were there once or twice a month, and every time they'd come take a picture of the progress. So, I mean, it's been a spectacle before it was a spectacle. and I do remember.
We know.
Yeah. And I remember the first time you were in this space, I said, "Have you seen it from this angle?" And you were like, "No, I haven't." So,
Yeah, I have that picture.
Awesome.
I took that day.
awesome. Yeah, I love having you guys as neighbors. I just want you to know.
Well, thank you.
So February will be your 1 year. Are you guys already planning anything big for that?
Oh my goodness.
They'll be here before you know it.
It will be. That's interesting you say that. I'll be honest and say I don't think that in my head I've gotten that far. We've taken it, we had the grand opening season, then we had summer season, which is really big for us. October's a big month for us. We have a lot of events happening in October.
Our Kaleidoscope Ball is next Friday night, which is our biggest fundraiser. So it's going to be 4 floors transformed into a Willy Wonka style imaginary playground, and then we have Party on the Moon is the band that's playing. I mean, it's going to be very exciting.
They're going to put the R in celebration.
Yeah.
And we've got our Ghoul Times event coming up,
That's
which
at the
is
end of-
one of our annual big events that's around the Halloween. That's on October 27th. So, and we'll also have our
Boo Ha Ha is our Kaleideum After Dark.
right.
So booze, brews, and crazy costumes. So
So we'll get through that, and then we'll be heading into some of the holiday
Holiday
themed
season,
stuff,
yeah.
and we'll have to be thinking about one
I'm
year
glad we
and
could
what that looks
overwhelm you
like.
and having
Exactly.
the things you've forgotten about, and now you can add to your
Exactly,
plate.
just the normal everyday business. So.
Well, it's awesome. I'm so, like I said, I'm so glad you guys are there, and I see the passion that you have for the place. It's not just a place to work; it's a place to be, and I think that it's awesome that you guys are here to exude that excitement. Now, almost almost a year later. So.
Well, I think we've really strived to create a place that is accessible for all. We do that through some of our discount programs and things like that as well. We really believe in this idea that we want you to be able to see someone that is like you in the space, but also someone that is different from you, so that we can learn and grow from each other in lots of different ways. So I think being in this downtown space, it has afforded us an opportunity to do that in a way that we could not do in the other space. Me mentioning that we're really happy to be part of this downtown and engage as a partner and all of those types of things. So, so we're just excited to be welcomed in downtown the way that we have, for the number of people that have come and visited us. We've already seen people from 47 states and from some other countries as well. I mean, our numbers have been fantastic. So this community and this region have really supported us in a big way, and we are very thankful for that in this community.
So how can people find out more?
go to kaleideum.org, and that's KALEIDEUM.org.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having us.
If you want to find out more, find us on Facebook and Instagram at TwinCityTalk.com. And that's it. Thank you. The views and opinions portrayed by guests on this podcast are not necessarily those of the distributors and hosting companies. And if you love this podcast, that's great, but don't think about stealing it. Reach out to us and talk about the content, because it is copyrighted.